All right, everyone. We're going to continue to draw hotel room number one. Again, if you're using a different source image, that's totally cool. I just want to kind of walk through everyone who's chosen to do this one. If you haven't chosen already, once again, I would recommend choosing this guy because there's going to be videos on how to do it if you have questions. So feel free to stop me at any point. I'll try to keep my eye on the chat. If I miss your comment or your question, be sure to raise your hand. I will try to answer it as I go. All right, that being said, let's go ahead and get started. We are going to start with some of the details in the cabinets over here on the wall. So assumedly they're cabinets. I mean, it might just be like just design interest. I'm not sure. But first thing we need to do is put a little line down here that kind of separates the cabinets from the floor. I'm going to do that using an orthogonal line just right next to the original cabinet. Right, so just putting another little kind of floorboard in there, and we can actually put this one on here across going this way. This one's not going to be orthogonal, it's going to be straight horizontal. There we go. So we got our baseboards in place, or kind of whatever you want to call that, some trim. Now we're just going to put some vertical lines, and I like to kind of map this out as I go. So I'm going to put little tick marks where I want these lines to be. I'm just going to evenly space them out. All right, so I got 1, 2, 3 tick marks. You might have more, you might have less. But adding these details is really going to help just make everything pop and make everything work in your drawing. So I'm just going to carefully add in these details, double checking my ruler. My ruler was a little crooked there. Check it with the other vertical lines in your drawing. Make sure that this is all straight up and down. Even when you get to the edge of the paper, right, you can just make sure that your ruler isn't leaning one way or the other. Make sure that it is straight up and down. And in those horizontal lines. Looks good to me. Then we're going to add in some over here as well. Looks like the first one's pretty close, then they're kind of evenly spaced to the edge of the wall. Again, just double checking that ruler, making sure. Sorry, my Roomba is running in the background, it sounds like. All right, so got those vertical details. It's starting to look a little bit more like a drawing. Okay, next thing we want to take care of. Let's see. Maybe we can put the side table in place. So as you can see, there's a side table with 2 water bottles right over here. We're going to try to draw that. I can see most of the details. We might need to switch it up a little bit. We'll see how we want to draw it. We'll see how it fits into our drawing, rather. So I'm going to start by making the edge that is closest to the bed. So there's a edge of the table that is closest to us as the viewer, and there's a edge that is closer to the bed. I'm going to start with the edge that's closest to the bed and try to draw that rectangle, and from that rectangle build out this side table. So the side table looks like it's up against the wall, so it starts here. I'm going to just plan out where it's going to go. So the side table is actually going to come out from the wall. Maybe about there. No, it's too far. Maybe here. Straight down. And then I'm going to have mine just end down here at the bottom of the bed, and that's going to be my side table situation. So now that we have the square that's closest to the bed, we're going to kind of expand that. This is a 2D shape. We're going to make it into a 3D shape by adding on some orthogonal lines, right? And again, these are going not back to the vanishing point. They're starting at the vanishing point, coming to the corner of our rectangle, and then coming towards us, the viewer. If we do that correctly, we should have a pretty good start to our table. So now that we have that, we're going to go ahead and erase all the lines that we do not need. Okay, lines that are hidden by the table. So we do that. Looks pretty. So we just have like kind of a rectangle situation right there. The next thing I'm going to do is add an open area to this table. And it's going to look kind of like this. It's going to be kind of tight and very small, so maybe wait until I'm done and then try it out. But we're going to add in vertical, orthogonal, top and bottom. It's just going to go off the table, I guess. There we go. Create kind of a border. And then last but not least, I'm going to put a little horizontal line in here. It's going to show kind of an area to put stuff in. All right, and I don't have to put any legs. You can see legs on the table in the drawing, but I can't see any of them here. If you wanted to, you could theoretically put, you can continue this vertical line down. Right? And make a set of legs if you wanted to. You can leave that there. You can take it or leave it. You don't have to do it. All right. Then at some point we can add the 2 things of water, but that's a little too specific. We don't want to do that just yet. So table is done. Why don't we finish up the bed? Looks like there are 2 orthogonal lines, kind of here and here, going back to the vanishing point, in kind of like a tic-tac-toe pattern on the bed. So we're going to go ahead and draw that in. Just a quick couple lines, orthogonal, orthogonal. Looks like it's just some detail interest. It looks like it's got 2 buttons here and here. And we're going to draw a vertical line to kind of divide that up. It's a little leany, but it's close. We can soften up those lines later to make it look like leather. Man, I'm real off with this line. So I just noticed that my second line was leaning quite a bit. It's not straight up and down. So I'm going to correct it. Just make sure that that ruler is straight up and down. Check it with other lines in the drawing. It looks a little bit better. And boom. Cool. All right, so this area looks pretty good. The next detail I'm going to focus on is going to be this kind of shelf over here under the TV. And I'm going to deviate from the actual design, and I'm just going to draw kind of a boxy version of this shelf. And if you ever need to do this, it's not a problem. But let's go ahead and start with, we're going to start with a triangle. So something like that. All right. And then we're going to turn that triangle into a 3D shelf by drawing orthogonal lines. One from the bottom and one from the top. We don't have to go super far. We're just going to go to the edge of the TV. Right. And it looks like this is directly on my horizon line, so it's going to look a little funny, but that's okay. We're going to make it work. So we have the top and the bottom of the shelf, and now we know that if this line in the front needs to be parallel to this line in the back, make sure that those lines are both going the same direction, and if they are, there you go. We have a nice little shelf looking thing over there. You can get more detailed with this if you want to, but I'm going to stick with that, just like that. Looks like maybe we don't want a floating bed, so we can put a couple of vertical lines here to kind of show that the bed is indeed resting on the ground. You can say like the other one's kind of hidden by the table. We can leave it that way. Yeah, the only other details I think are kind of these soft details, so like the mattress or the pillows, maybe even softening up some of these details over here, the kind of blanket that's kind of over here. So I'm gonna leave it right here for now. I'm gonna kind of take a look at it, take a careful look, see what else I may want or need. But this is a pretty good stopping point for today. So if we can get here for today, you're going to be in good shape. And that's where we're going to leave it. Does anyone have any questions?